Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica Podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner AFRY. AFRY is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it. And we have an amazing storyteller. I have the pleasure to welcome you, Olga, to Urbanistica Podcast. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
How are you doing?
Right now, a bit sweaty. I was a bit late. Like this part of the town I'm not so familiar with, and it's like construction place everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm a bit like woo, but that's my normal state.
But today also is like it's raining a lot.
Yeah. But I still like it because it's this kind of summer smell, rain smell in there, and I love it.
Nice. And how is it going with the projects and everything? I guess you have always a lot of things to do.
I would say that the last week has been extra crazy. I've had like 3 lectures within 5 days, and we have held a conference which is like how urban communities can take ownership over the food and like district kitchen and stuff, but we can speak about that later.
Of course. So me and the listener are very curious to know more about you. So how would you like to introduce yourself to our listener?
I would say that I'm a very energetic person that love life and think that life should be fun and enjoyable for everyone. I'm really much caring about this justice in the society, and if we only live one time, then I think everyone should have an amazing life. And today we have all the possibilities for everyone to have an amazing life, but we just have shitty system which make it impossible. So my passion is more to create a fair, sustainable, and healthy world through food.
And tell me more about you, like where you grew up, what did you study, work with, like a highlight about Olga.
My mother, she comes from Finland, and I'm actually born at Åland, which is the archipelago islands between Sweden and Finland. Lived there for 3 weeks. Then my parents moved back to Stortorget.
Very long time.
Yeah. But Stortorget, that is like the old square in Gamla stan. So I grew up in this house you see on postcard. This colorful
the old
house.
Town.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And my playground was Skansen. So we went over with a boat every day. And so I'm a bit weird. Like it's not super many people that have that upbringing. But then we moved to Kungsholmen. And I went to school in Vasa Real, so like really a big city kid. When I grew up, then I was like Vasa Real, that is in Odenplan, and my U-Bahn station was Torilsplan. And I thought that I was living in the ghetto because, like I had never, like I was so much surrounded by this. If you come from Gamla stan, then you come to the ghetto of Torilsplan. Everything has to do with perspectives. If you don't know something, then you don't know it. But in my upbringing, my mom, she's this environmental person, cares a lot about the nature. We went to farms and bought meat when we were kids. And my grandfather, he was like a forest engineer. And my grandmother, she was like fighting for people's rights and was a journalist. And on my dad's side, they came from Norrland in Sweden. And the farmer persons lived outside Söderhamn, so on a farm. So I have like this.
I see the roots.
Yeah, it's really the roots. And then I grew up in Stockholm, was never good in school. I was this loud person that just disturbed the class. Got the best grade in like entrepreneurship and national economy. But I thought everything was really fun. But I didn't, like, for me, when I don't see the purpose of something, then I don't do it. So for me, it was very hard to go in school. And then I moved to Berlin when I was 21. Today I'm 31 with my best friend Kegen.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about, because Stockholm was so small and boring, so we were just like, oh, what should we do? We have done everything fun in this city, because we have always been into like party, meeting a lot of friends and living fun life. And then we were thinking about like the different cities that we were considering was London, Barcelona, or Berlin.
Like the super livable cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And London, we had been before, and that's like too long distances everywhere, and it's like so high tempo, and I don't like U-Bahn and stuff. I find it like too stressful. So that was not an option, and way too expensive. We have never been about making money, so that was not an option. Yeah. Barcelona, on the other hand, that was way too mañana. Like, you know, and also the language.
Too much of fun.
yeah. And also this, I don't know, like it's something a bit too vacaciones with that city. And then Berlin, we had a lot of friends. We had been there before. I was studying German in school, so that came very naturally to move to Berlin. So we moved there when we were 21.
Yeah. And what did you work with?
Like my idea was to study event management, and because during my upbringing I have always hosted a lot of events, because I hate that people are lonely in today's society and sit home and don't do fun things.
Okay.
So by hosting event and creating places for people to meet, you can change people's life actually. Because if someone sits alone home, then they get invited to a party where it's nice food and they get connected to a kind of a community, then you change their day.
Of course, yeah.
So I've hosted a lot of events during just my school upbringing. As soon as it was a possibility to celebrate something, we celebrated it. And I love good food and get to unite people. So my idea was to study event management in Berlin. But then I had to learn German. So when we moved to Berlin, we started to study German. Then the clubs were way too much fun. So instead of studying German in the traditional way, we started to party a lot and spoke German in the clubs. And there we met like a lot of artists. You know, restaurant people and all this like creative sphere. And as like Berlin has such a good party scene, Berghain and so on, then people from all over the world that have this passion for fun and culture, they come to Berlin. So we met so many cool people that really like expanded our world. And when you live in like Stockholm, there's such a small and uptight bubble. Then to come to Berlin and you just have like, no limits. And,
exactly.
You know,
I think it has a lot to do with the amount of people, like the critical mass, you know. We are not so many here in Stockholm, let's say downtown or city.
Stockholm is also like so regulated. Like in Stockholm, everyone want to be the same. No one want to stick out. Everyone want to just...
It's a cultural thing as well.
Yeah. You're not supposed to be different in Sweden. You're just supposed to be going to school, study straight after, do a master.
To stick to the norm.
Stick to the norm.
Which is not your thing.
No. Like I hate when things are predictable. Then I get super bored. So I really don't fit into that system. No, but then in Berlin, so instead of like studying German the traditional way, I wanted to get integrated in the society. So I got a babysitting job actually. And so I started to babysit this kid called Mads. This German family were inspired of Scandinavia. And when he was 3, I started to babysit him. And then we hanged 2 times a week. We ate sandwiches by the canal. And during 3 years, we developed our German together. And I became a part of the German society. Nice. And, you know, got my way around. But during this time, we didn't earn almost any money. So because we were just having fun and we were living like on really low budget.
So no saving at all.
No. And that was almost like a fun thing to do it in this way.
It was like your lifestyle.
Yeah. And so the way we did was the only thing we could afford to eat was sandwiches. But we didn't do it them like normal sandwiches. We made a thing with it.
How?
So we called it mackish. So like macka in Swedish, that's sandwich.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, we just called it mackish. So mackish. And so it was me and Kegan, and we always had so much fun. So we were doing these sandwiches in weird settings and just like, oh, look at this topping and blah, blah, blah. And then just by accident or somehow, we opened a Facebook group called Mackish.
Okay, there in Berlin.
Yeah, in Berlin. So different people started to upload pictures on their sandwiches. And then I was just like, Kegan, fuck, this is really something.
Yeah,
like,
there is something.
Yeah. Because so many people started to do this, and it was like kind of a secret Mackish community. You could just be invited if you knew someone. And as we had so trendy friends, it was like this kind of culture.
Yeah.
And out of this, I was just like, Kegan, like, we're gonna change the world with sandwiches, because I always had this urge.
They
to
are not
change.
Even sandwiches. They're like a Mac-ish.
Yeah. And Kegan was just like, Olga, you're crazy, and I was just like, no, we really got something here, because I always wanted to change the world, because I've seen everything that is unfair and so on.
Yes.
And then we understood that we have created a communication tool, because it doesn't matter if you're poor or if you're rich, if you're a good chef or a bad chef, or which culture you come from, because almost everyone can relate to bread with toppings.
That's true.
Yeah. So by developing this community, we got people from all over the world to connect with each other, no matter background. So someone posted a picture, and then they started to discuss the toppings and how you do in this country. Oh, you should add a little bit of that. And me and Kegan commented on all the pictures and said, oh, such a nice mackish, blah, 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 blah. So this community grew. And then we started to work with it as a company. So we went to different street food markets, and then we did competitions in the Facebook group and said, the one that do the most creative mackish, we're going to serve at this festival, blah, blah, blah. And as we have so many fun friends, we got invited to very nice festivals. And then we started to do like more productions, and then we got invited to Nyhetsmorgon, and then we started to tour the world with this mackish concept.
But like you don't you don't produce, you host the event, you create the platform, but by yourself you stop preparing this mackish.
Yeah. I love to cook. Like, for me, some people are artists by painting and stuff. For me, it's like with flavors, to experiment with flavors. I hate to cook the same thing twice. I cannot do it. And then I get bored, of course. And I love to experiment. Like, for me, when I'm in the kitchen, then the world disappears, because I'm only like testing flavors and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a sucker for quality. I hate shit food. That's like, I don't eat processed. Yeah. Of course, it can taste good if you're drunk or something, but not like you're not supposed to eat that in general. And as I know all this, like, as my mom has brought me up in a way that I have all this knowledge, then I know what is good food for your health and for the planet itself. Yeah. But then when we were cooking, like preparing sandwiches, and it was not, bread and cheese. Like, we did the very experimental. Yeah. So for example, when and we always mix the thing. So, for example, it was a K-pop band from Tokyo in Stockholm. Yeah. Then the organizer of the event contacted us and said, "Oh, we're gonna do this event because they're gonna release a new CD." Yeah. Then we took
CD. This long time ago.
Yeah. It was maybe not a CD actually. What, I don't know.
Anyway,
they were in Stockholm. So they are working a lot with the colors and the patterns in the colors. Yeah. And as it is the music industry, then we decided to serve the sandwiches on old LP CDs. Wow. The sandwiches we did in colorful, we did different creams in very strong colors. We have like root beet and rutabaga. And then we created like patterns. Cool. So everything. And we were not like catering service. We were like almost like honorable guests because we had the vibe, we came with something more than just like this. True. Because we spoke about the importance of why we do this, because with food you can repair landscape and soils and like public health. But there, when we were running this company, we understood the difficulties with the food system due to that we only wanted to work with produce that came from healthy soils and good ecosystems. And I'm really a control freak when it comes to flavors. I really want to have it in my way. So we wanted to cook everything from scratch.
Yeah.
But today, like that takes a lot of time. And today we live in a world where no one want to pay for food anymore. So
even if it's like a good food?
Yeah, like not, because we were working a lot with commercial and these production companies, and they want to have everything sponsored and just like, oh, you can be seen in this venue.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, thank you for that. But this venue is not going to pay this farmer for this produce, but thanks. But, you know, like we really wanted to push this forward, and they are like early adapters. We were just like, fuck it, we see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I really understood how weird this food system is, that, okay, we really want to do good, but it's almost impossible to survive. And you need to have like some Michelin star for a person to really want to pay for food.
Yeah.
Especially as we have all these like low budget alternatives. So it was really frustrating, but 2019... And during this time, the only time we really could afford to take out a good salary was when we did like, I've done 2 big commercials that I today, of course, would not do. But at that time,
you needed that.
I had to do
What
it.
kind of commercials?
That is like the biggest brand of processed bread in Sweden. Nothing organic. And they have a big factory in Malmö.
Okay.
And they have this like lingongrova and all this like commercial bread. Really big factory. And, you know, I'm not brought with processed bread. My mom has baked all the bread. It's 100% sourdough, 3D process, grains that is good. And, you know, so we did that commercial, and that was like a 365 episode sandwich calendar. So me and Kegan, it's so fucked up.
This is big.
So me and Kegan, like during 10 weeks, we were recording 1 episode an hour.
Wow.
Episode an hour, and we did 1 sandwich related to the date of the day.
But like, was it on TV or for them?
No, it was on a YouTube channel.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's totally. So it was like Quentin Tarantino's birthday. We did like a sandwich. But then we took a sandwich from the community. That was the sandwich that was made that day. And then we were dressed out as Kill Bill and this like blah, blah, blah. And we did a 3-minute sketch about the day.
Wow.
But then it was maybe 10 or 7 people working in the production. So we were not doing the sandwiches ourselves.
No, we just jump in and perform and talk.
We were in one studio, and then the Macish was made in another studio. But, you know, like to be 10 different characters a day.
It's so difficult.
Yeah. Like
I cannot even imagine it.
But do you understand how fast that... we experienced the whole year in 10 weeks. So we were just like, whoa, today's like midsummer. And we had like the curtains down.
You need to adapt quickly.
Yeah, and it was the one day Trump won the election. It was that year. And then we could not record the show because I was just crying. I was just like, this is the end of the world. We cannot do this. You know, because you have to be on point all the time when you stand in front of a camera.
But Olga, why are you regretting this? It's a big project.
No, I don't regret it.
Or not regretting,
I don't regret anything I've done. I have seen everything as a learning lesson, and we could not do more, and we didn't know better at that time either. But it's just like that. I don't want to, I don't think that we should eat processed bread.
This is your point. That, yes.
And then the other thing we did was a commercial for Jarlsberg. And Jarlsberg is the biggest cheese of Norway. And in Norway, they eat more cheese per capita than in USA. And it's non-organic. But they don't have, they don't put any additives into the cheese. So that's a good thing. But it's still not, you know, like as we have to eat less animal products, then it's not super good to eat non-organic cheese.
Yeah. So can I ask you to define organic and not organic for me, also for our listener?
Yeah. Okay.
So we follow with your story.
Yeah. That's very good. Okay, good. And this is so complex, you know. So food can be produced in a way that is either with the nature or against the nature.
Okay.
So when you do today conventional farming, that is about like putting chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and making the crops grow more intensively and faster.
Yeah.
Because we want to like always make the produce grow quicker and quicker and more and more. Yeah. But the issue with that is that we're killing the soil. Because the soil is a living thing. It's full of microbes and diversity. So by putting chemical inputs, then you destroy the soil. When the soil is dead, we will no longer be able to produce food. And the soil, when it's dead, it's also leading to erosion. So when it comes, like, it cannot store water anymore. It cannot capture carbon anymore.
It's not reacting.
And it becomes dead. It's just like this gray dust. And this is one of the biggest threats we have right now. Like, if we look on all the soils on the earth, 30% of them has the status degraded. If we continue our food production as we do today, 95% is dead by 2050.
2050, like it's like tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
So therefore, and this is not been speaking about so much due to, we have to stop the climate crisis. We have to handle more crises at the same time. I'm really tired of this. So with this said, then it's like, this is one type of way you can produce food. And that's like how it is today. That's the global industrial food system. Today, 80%.
The quick, the cheap, the fast.
Fast, intensively produced and so on. And the industry use, they say that, with the growing population, we have to maximize their production and blah, blah, blah. Today, we throw 1/3 of all our food.
1/3?
1/3.
Wow.
And if we look, it was really fun. This is just like a little side story. I jump a bit. That's kind of my mode. I was in a podcast some weeks ago, and then it was a guy from Ghana, one from Madrid, and me. And we were speaking about the issues with the global food system, because all of us are a part of it, even though it looks different in different sides. And then we were speaking about the issues in our country. And, in Ghana, they don't have... many people don't have access to food, and the food waste appear in the prime production due to lack of infrastructure and how to handle the produce. In Sweden, our food waste appears in the households because we can afford to throw food because it's too cheap for us. And our food waste is also shown in obesity and overweight, because that's also, unnecessary calories eaten. And today, 52% of Sweden's population is overweight. 52%.
Wow.
And people think that Sweden is so fresh, healthy, innovative.
Keeping the shape, no?
No, I would say. And, we have so big wages. And then out of this, like, that costs the society 70 miljarder per år. What is that in English?
70 billion.
70 billion a year.
Wow.
And that's double as much as the cancer therapy. How fucked up is that?
So crazy.
Yeah. And if we take just like the child perspective, during the 30 last years, the kids with like overweight has doubled. The amount of kids with obesity has 5-doubled. We are going into a fat pandemic.
This
as
is not
hell.
Good.
No. And this has, like, we're going to speak about that later, but that has a lot to do about how we're forming the cities and what food environment we expose the kids to.
Yeah, and that's why you're here, like, to inspire us, because we have no idea.
Oh, yeah, and I love to speak about this. But now I'm going to jump back to the production.
Yeah.
So that was a short little side story. But it's good, like, you have to understand the big picture of this and the complexity.
I had no idea about these numbers, to be honest.
No.
I also think, like, I thought, like, okay, everyone's keeping the shape, everyone's going to the gym, everyone looks so cool.
Yeah. No. So when we go back to the production, then you have this like unsustainable way of producing food. So that's really bad for biodiversity. It's letting out a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, and it's not long-term sustainable. Then you can do a production that is working with the nature. And then we have different type of production that is doing that. Organic is one way, and that means that you are only allowed to use like organic fertilizers, kind of. Then we have also biodynamic farming. That's even more strict. Then you're not allowed to add some things. Then we have an even better one, regenerative farming, which means that you have to integrate animals into the production, and you close the circle. So
like the old time.
So that's and permaculture and agroforestry. So you really work with the ecosystem than against it. But in today's food system, it's so many big powers that is like lobbyist organizations and stuff. So right now, Sweden is actually, like if you take all the production in Sweden, 80% is non-organic. 80% is non-organic. And then we have we're better than some other countries, but we're absolutely not the best.
Yeah, of course,
and
80 is...
No, and now we are going down. Like the government right now, they want to lower the ambitions. So that's very sad because now people are looking into short-term profit rather than the long-term profit and sustainability. So it's a very narrow thinking.
Yeah, but why? Because the organically produced food is so much expensive compared to the normal one.
Yeah.
It's because of...
I would say that we live in like the structure of today's food system is basically wrong. And since 90, then 9 out of 10 small-scale farms in Sweden has closed down. And the policies, both on a Swedish level and a European level, doesn't benefit the farmers that are working with the nature. Because today's agriculture system, that is benefiting more the big industry players. So, and also...
Like in almost like every industry.
So outdated. And today we have a food system where people interact and buy their food at big supermarkets. I call them super bad markets. But it's not because, like, if they would do good and help the people to eat good food, then I would call them super good markets maybe, but it's not like that today. So it's not that I'm going to call them that forever. It's just now when they're so closed in their loop. And there, you know, like they promote a certain type of food and they have their promotions on a certain type of food. And they don't want to promote organic because in Sweden, like consumers, I don't like to say consumers either. I prefer to say eaters or citizens that sometimes consume, because then I think like
Let's
with
say
the language,
eaters. Let's say eaters.
Because like when the person go to a supermarket, then you get exposed to what is on the shelves. And before, like organic was more popular because these supermarkets were promoting organic food as well. But now we have a brand called Från Sverige. So that's a yellow and blue little flag that sits on packages. And that is a sales argument for the industry brand.
From Sverige means from Sweden.
Yes, exactly. But just because something is from Sweden doesn't mean that it's good from Sweden.
So it's a way to promote the local produced food.
Yeah, exactly. But here we have to take in count that, like, when something says from Sweden, like that is not only dependent on inputs from Sweden. We still have to import the fertilizers, the pesticides. Like I have a good friend called Sebastian, and he's a sourdough baker, and he's really about, you know, the right of the farmers and soil health and culture and so. And he's one of the few persons that dare to speak about the industry and how it's working, because so many people are brought up by the industry knows. So it's not many people that are this like free speaking as I am.
So even if we think this food is produced in Sweden, like have the produce in Sweden tag, it doesn't mean like it's 100% pure produce.
No, because so he call it närbesprutad, which is like closely produced but poisoned. So because it's still dependent on these pesticides and stuff. So just because something is from Sweden, it doesn't matter that it's sustainable produced from Sweden. And you know, consumers, they can have one sustainability argument in their head in the same time. So here they get bombarded with all these arguments like, oh, you should become vegan, you should eat food that has less carbon output, you should eat organic, you should do that and that and that. Like, it's impossible to be a consumer today because it's so many messengers that you get. So people either choose from Sweden or they choose organic, and it's not so many that have this like bigger picture knowledge about things. And then also we come into the question about price. Organic is often a few crowns more expensive. And
but why?
Because it's more human demanding to produce organic.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, and also it's not the same efficient crop-wise. You don't get out the same much. Like when you do a big field, a monoculture with a lot of wheat, you get out big amounts of shit quality wheat.
Okay.
But if you would look, like Sebastian is so good of explaining this. So he had a bakery and they were selling this bread, and the loaf was like prime quality, several day process, cost 90 crown for a loaf. And some people would say, oi, that's expensive, because you compare it to a bread from a super bad market. But then if you study this closer, then you see that his bread is way heavier, so it doesn't contain so much air. He used a flour that actually contains nutrition because it comes from soils that contains nutrition. So his bread is actually cheaper per kilo because the bread you buy in a super bad market contains so much air and it's just processed flour and don't have any nutrition. And in today's food system, people buy food on grams and count calories.
Yeah, exactly. And also like the amount of Swedish crowns, how many grams I get from this.
Exactly.
Is it a good deal?
Yeah. So in this the current food system, then you do like that, and then like I think in the new food system or in the healthy food system, then you're gonna buy food by nutrition instead. Because imagine if a tomato comes from a healthy soil, then it contains way more nutrition and it tastes good.
Of course.
If a tomato comes from a greenhouse and is this like not even red and it's still hard, like like that's that's horrible.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have another kind of mentality when it comes to food, because then it's going to be very expensive to go to McDonald's suddenly. Because if you're going to buy vitamin and minerals for your money, then you have to buy many meals for it to even have.
To combine.
Or maybe you even can. Maybe you cannot even buy there because they don't have vitamin and minerals.
But Olga, tell me what is like. You're closer to this. Like, what does the market or the eaters shows? Like, do we buy healthy organic or no? We don't care. We just keep doing what we used to do.
Now,
like, what does the market tell us?
Like the market is, like this, it's demand and...
supply and demand.
Yeah. But I would say when people get the opportunity and understand why you do a certain thing, then they act and buy the thing that is right for their health and other people's health.
Yeah.
But today we don't have the infrastructure which allows it. Because in the supermarket, like... you cannot find the regenerative farmed food. They don't have a place in those supermarkets.
Okay.
So I think it is like this, because today it's a matter of class and education. Who can afford nutrition and who has access to nutrition?
Yeah.
And that's simply fucking wrong. Like that, food is a human right. Due to the, if you look on the Child Convention, which is actually a law in Sweden, then every kid have the right to health and like healthy food. So today we're breaking the law in Sweden because kids have no access to healthy and good food. And therefore you have to speak about this question in a high political level, because we're not working, we're not in a system which is even legal, I would say. I'm totally going to try to do some suing in this. I really look forward to that. So someone that is a lawyer that's listening, get in contact.
do you feel sad when you get into the supermarkets and you see there's like tons of different...
Okay, Mustafa, like I cannot barely go into super bad market,
super bad market.
When I go in there, before I got my ADHD diagnosis and got help with, putting effort of how to deal with my passion. Yeah. Because before, when I was not so aware of how I should work in this system, I could go into a supermarket and start to speak with the person that was the boss of the store and was just like, why do you do this and that and blah, 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 blah.
You talk with the
because when
manager.
I see something, then I cannot resist to do something about it.
You just like
I I cannot. It's just like impossible.
Okay.
So then when I was going into a supermarket, I could stay there for an hour and just like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? But then when I started Reformaten, which I will speak about later, then I got to know a woman called Katta Nylén, and she's a climate psychologist. And she taught me a tool that is like, you have one, it's one pile that is going upwards and one that is going horizontal.
Okay.
No, how do you say
the
it?
X,
Like
Y.
this. Yeah. And then you have like high impact, low impact, short term, long term. And then you have to place your efforts and hours in this. And if I was going to waste one of my hours in one supermarket, that's low impact, short term. I have to call, ICA head office and say, why the fuck do you do promotions on that? So
like this.
Then I learned.
So this changed your the way you react
of where I should put my effort.
Yeah.
Because we are running out of time and people are suffering every hour due to this. So then I start I don't go to supermarkets so much, because when I go into supermarket, I say that it is for me to go into supermarket. It is like a showroom of the climate crisis, also biodiversity and public health issues and social justice issues.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Like I didn't react on this before, but like the recent year, when I get into the supermarket, I see there's like, let's say 40 different type of cheese imported from different countries. And I just watching, okay, cool, it's luxury that I can buy cheese from. Let me just finish. So it's luxury that we have so much of food we can choose in between. At the same time, I'm just like reflecting, how much did it take to produce, to ship this from different countries? And all, like all this logistics and production behind this beautiful packaged.
And for me, for me, luxury is that I don't have to choose. I don't want to have this, I don't want to select. I want to have one perfect tomato. It's going to be super tasty and really good. I want to have like maybe 2 different kind of cheese. I don't need 100 different kind of cheese that is shit for on the environment. And when I go into a supermarket, then I see chains of reactions. So when I look at the shelves, I see packages and I see shelves. And then I see the whole process, what happened before the thing ended up on the shelves.
It's because what is behind. For us, we don't know. We just see, okay, fine, good price, I take it. We don't know the story behind, the sad story behind it.
And when you know that, it's a blessing and a curse. But then I also see the whole consequences of what's going to happen after it's leaving the shelf. So, I have like 2 big spinning wheels that is before and after. So therefore I am like...
You don't go into the...
No. I'm just like, okay, I try to avoid it as much as possible. So I have like a favor, like a service that it comes a box of local organic produced vegetables to my door. I cook. As I love to experiment, I only use that, and I'm really picky with flavors, so I really like to cook like this. And then, I have a few blocks away, I have some friends that are hunters, so I buy my meat from them, that they have just been shooting in the forest. And then in my house, I have a sourdough baker that only use cultured grains. And then, but this is so privileged. But actually, I think I spend less money than a normal person on food, because I don't go into super bad markets and buy unnecessary things. And I buy Swedish regenerative produced beans and lentils, and these 2.5 kilo bags with the finest quinoa of Sweden, and it's Rosanna Linzer, and the quality is just so amazing, so you don't need that extra.
But tell me, Olga, like now, okay, we are digging into the problems and challenges. But at the same time, like we are in Sweden, and the winter time more than me, and it's not easy to produce and farm like how other countries do. So at the same time, we also have like we have to import somehow.
Yeah, of course.
Or tell me how can we do this?
Yeah. Okay. So today, Sweden imports 50% of the food that we eat.
So half of the...
Yeah. And we could produce more food here. We are self-sufficient. Carrots, sugar, and the grains.
Good.
And we could produce a lot more food here. And also, as we cannot grow food during the winter time, then we can preserve food in different way. You can do... like store it in different way. Like the potato we can store almost all year. The same with carrots and onions. And the beans and lentils, that's a dry thing, so that can be all over year. But some, like you can pickle, you can ferment, you can do different things, so you can store things over the year. But we are not against that we can import things. For us, it's the most important that the food is sustainable produced, so the soil is healthy where the food is produced, and that the farmer has a good living condition, so they get good paid and they have like a possibility to live. Because within today's food system, if you take the transport, because many people think, oh, it's so bad with imported due to the transport. That's 2% of the greenhouse gas emission for what we eat. And as long as food is not flown by airplane, which I think you should just like simply forbid, then it's like, you don't want to eat a shitty pineapple that tastes shit. Like if you think of like the quality, then that is not like good quality, you know. And so we have to more go into how we can, what role food should have in our societies and in people's life, because this is things that is more demanding with the time. But today, like food is essential, you know, like it's something that brings people together. And today we have issues with a polarized society. And, you know, I live to enjoy life and get other people to enjoy life. That is my passion. So by creating, like, I don't need much money. I need money so I can pay my rent, and I need money so I can buy food and do a bit of travels.
And go party.
Yeah, go party. But, you know, like I have so many friends that have good parties, so it's fine. No, but, you know, like I don't need much money. I
understand you.
I need money so I can survive and do things that I need. I hate to buy new things. That's the worst thing I know. Like, I just simply hate it. For me, like a Galleria is the worst place on earth. Like I hate commercials because I know the consequences of it. I don't see the point of it. For me, it's only like superficial, and I really don't find it interesting.
So like all shopping malls are forbidden for you to enter because like
it's just like boring. I get like rushes. I see everything that is bad.
Yeah, like buy from us, buy from us.
Yeah, buy commercial. People are suffering. I see the consequences of it. So for me, it's just like horrible. And also, you know, like for me to be in a city, you know, to go with a U-Bahn and see all the commercials, like just
that's all. Yeah, it's
triggering
like,
everything.
I get headache, to be honest. Like I love cities and so on, but for me
too, the culture thing.
For me, like it start to get a bit too much of advertisement everywhere. Like it's, you know, I wake up in the morning, I take the metro, and it's like advertisement everywhere. In the let's say metro vehicle, then you step out to the station, advertising everywhere, open for advertisement. So I think it's a kind of, for me it's a headache, to be honest.
And you know, like we are not supposed to get bombarded by all this messenger. I think it's like some city in can it be Sao Paulo? Like in some cities, they start to forbid commercial.
They
because,
blocking.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, morally so right. Should people get so affected by this? I was standing at T-Centralen the other day, and I was...
The central station area.
And I was so close to cry because from one point of view, I saw like 5 different food commercial of just shit food. It was this like processed non-organic wurst, like sausages, and it was just like, oh, summer grill party, and then you just see, okay, this is cancer, this is, you know, loss of biodiversity, and then it's this huge commercial for that's like this like a food delivery service that's like underpaid workers. It's just that's it's just like so sad that we have created a society where this is allowed, because these people, they don't get good paid by the work they do, horrible working conditions, no security. And you know, have we really got that lazy that we cannot even go and buy our food takeaway? You know, like we're so lazy, these persons. Like food can be something amazing that you do together. Like today's society, when people are just getting fat and sitting in their couches and just like, oh, let's order Foodora, we buy some processed shit and get fat, and you know, like it's just like, I'm just so sad of seeing this, you know.
Tell me, you mentioned that your friend told you about the XY and low impact, high impact. So I know you started something big. Reformaten. So tell me this story. How life led you to that you start this.
So I moved back to Stockholm 2019 because I could not sit on a train front and back to Stockholm and between Stockholm and Berlin. I have way too much ADHD, and it's also very expensive to go with train due to the fucked up transportation system that we should not start to speak about.
Then they say, why don't take flights, please be sustainable.
And I don't want to fly. It's simply, I don't feel that it's right to fly. I'm a privileged person. I should not do it. So then I decided to move back to Stockholm.
Yeah.
When I came back to Stockholm, then I've been living this really privileged life, seeing all these cool people, different sides of the society where people speak about sustainability, don't do sustainability. This hypocrisy we live in. Yeah. So then my dad got very sick in cancer. And he was living temporarily in Norrköping, a small city outside. A small city outside Stockholm. So when he got sick, then me and my brother, we moved into the hospital with him because he got so sick that he was close to death all the time.
Okay.
So during 1 month, we spent time with him in the hospital. And during this time, I saw the reality. This was the time I woke up. I saw that our tax money was financing food that is destroying the public health and the climate and loss of biodiversity.
So we are paying for this.
Yeah, we're paying for this catastrophe to happen.
Okay.
And that was, I was so angry. I was crying.
It's like a wake-up call, right?
I was just whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I was just because when you're in a vulnerable situation like that, when you see your dad in that position, you see all the other patients that are just sitting there and not eating because the food is so disgusting. And it's
that's sad.
Yeah, so sad. And I was just why don't you use food for something good here?
Yeah.
And I don't say that all hospital has bad food, but this had bad food.
Okay.
So of 14 meals, lunch and dinner, 9 of them was processed meat or red meat.
Okay.
And if you look on the recommendations from a health perspective, you're not supposed to eat more than 500 grams of this per week.
Per week.
If you look from a climate perspective, due to the emissions of the meat productions, then you're not supposed to eat more than 300 grams a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand the issues
relate.
here?
I can relate. I can see how big is the problem now.
Yeah. And I know this research, and when I was sitting there, I was just going front and back in the corridors, taking photos of all the menus, and I was just boiling. I was fucking angry. And then I had already started to work because before this I wanted to open a restaurant, an educational restaurant that show how amazing this transformation is. Because it's more quality. It's doing things together. It's super
social,
attractive.
Economical and ecological.
It's amazing. So I just want people to experience and live it,
Good.
But then dad got sick and this happened in the hospital. And I got so angry and sad that I was just this cannot be true. Sweden, at this time of our development.
2019.
Yeah. How is it possible? We are educated, we're privileged. How come? So then I contacted the head of the hospital and said just why is this? I wrote a sharp email, quite short. There was referring to research.
Okay.
Said that I had taken photos of the menus. Do you need help? Why is it like this?
Good.
So I was just offering my help and asked how come it is like this.
Yeah.
Then I got invited to a meeting with the dietarian head of the hospital, and she explained to me that this is old systems. We cannot do anything about it. And old patients, they only eat this kind of food.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And I was just whoa, this is complete bullshit. I was just whoa. First of all, I always take the potato as an example because a potato, that can be something of the most tasty you have been eating if it comes from a healthy soil and being treated with love and respect. And it end up on a plate with little butter and salt.
Good cooked.
Yeah, it's so good. Or it can be a grey overboiled piece of shit that's going to end up in the trash. So I was just like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And this with that old patients only eat this kind of food, that's bullshit, because they actually don't eat this kind of food. It end up in the trash. And then this argument that it's old system and we cannot do anything about it, I was just like, that's also bullshit, because the system, it comes up and it can change or it can stay.
Yeah.
And then she said like, oh, but your dad, he's so sick, so he can get the special menu. And I was just like, what?
Exactly.
So you have to be close to dying to eat food that you don't die from. And all of these other patients at this hospital that for sure not have a daughter that is this crazy as me, shall they eat this shit?
Exactly. Like, what is this logic?
Yeah. I was just like, whoa. And then I got so angry. So I was just like, oh, you're gonna see. And then I went out on a run, because I run a lot. That's how I process my thoughts. And then just Reformaten appeared on my head, my head. And that's like Reformaten. That is like reform maten. And maten is food in Swedish.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was just like,
wait.
Whoa.
This is crazy.
I was just like, shit. I was just like, this has nothing to do with my dad. It has nothing to do with the hospital. This is so big.
Yeah.
Why do we eat food that makes us and the people sick? Totally unnecessary.
And we pay for this as well from tax money.
Yeah. So I was just like, whoa. Everything was just appearing in my head. And then I came back and I was just like,
I have the solution.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. So I contacted my friend Marika, and I was just like, Marika, she's a communication designer.
Okay.
I was just like, Marika, we have to create a big fucking campaign that's gonna, like translate all this complicated research material, and we're gonna go out with a big campaign, and get signatures and force the political leaders to change the system.
Like a movement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the first idea with Reformaten, that we were going to do this massive campaign and blah, 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 blah. Because we have the answers. We know what we're going to eat, what kind of food we have to eat for the planet and for the people. And here I want to add a thing that is like very important, because the food we eat and the food system, we have to look on solutions that are holistic. Because if we look on silos and just
Would
look
you like
on...
to come to the microphone?
If we look on solutions that are not holistic, we're going to go against the other silo solutions.
Yeah.
So if we speak about, we're going to eat food that is lowering the emissions, and everyone start to eat like vegowurst, some processed vegowurst, that's not going to be good for your health. That's not good for the landscapes, because it's like a monoculture.
Yeah.
And it's like not organic, so it's like destroying the soil, but it's good, like the greenhouse gas emissions are going down.
Yes.
And then if we eat non-organic avocado that is imported from Mexico, they don't have any groundwater left, and the dealers deal avocado instead of cocaine, so it's not good from what do you call it, right perspective. You know what I mean.
I understand you.
Yeah. So herefore, it's so important to speak about holistic solutions and speak about food that is good for the soil, the health of the people, and also, of course, we have to eat less meat, because we eat so much meat today. But we don't have to stop to eat meat. It's just to eat better meat.
The amount and the way we produce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we refer always to a framework that is called Diet for a Green Planet. And that's like 5 criteria.
Okay.
First, it has to be tasty and healthy, because otherwise it's going to end up in the trash.
Okay.
Then it has to be the produce should come from this kretslopp. How do you say kretslopp? Circular farms.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, circular or regenerative farms, and if not that is possible, then organic is better. Then as local produce as possible, then seasonal, and then minimum waste.
Yes.
So those 5 criteria, and we call them qualitarian criteria. So instead that people should become vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian and have all this things, you should be a qualitarian. So no matter which diet you follow, the most important is that it has quality for that the production has a certain quality.
Yeah.
So
you started Reformaten. Is it like an organization or no? It's like
we're an NGO.
Okay.
So the first idea was this campaign, but then we understood that, okay, we need a lot of money to create a campaign, and we really don't want to have money from the industry because our most important thing is our independency.
Okay.
So first we have to create this in an independent way.
Yes.
So during the first year, we spoke with extremely many people and just like trying to understand the issue. And then I went crazy. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you have the farmers, you have the people working with the restaurants, you have chefs, you have people working in the region, in the municipality, you have on a national level, global level, European level.
It's complicated.
And then some people care about their own health, and some people care about their family's health, and some about the nature, and some about animal.
Economy.
Economy. So we were just like, okay, what the fuck? Like, and they don't collaborate. So then we said, like, okay, we have to create an organization which unite voices, and we have to mobilize this engagement. So during the first year, as we were registered as an organization, we did it without money, you know, like we did 14 live streamed conference that was between 1 to 12 hours with 120 experts from the food system.
Wow.
So everything from people working like in the public agencies like Folkhälsomyndigheten, Livsmedelsverket, Jordbruksverket, to good chefs, to influencers, to farmers.
Nice.
But so Reformaten was just like, I asked people to help, and people wanted to help. I think that people really want to help, but today it's not those platforms that can allow people to help. Because either organizations are bought up by industry, and then people, of course, don't want to help because they are not stupid. And then these other environmental organizations, somehow they can be a bit negative. You know, it's so much, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And we have, like, we want to collaborate with everyone, but we are more speaking about what we should do and this positive side and unite and ask, and we don't say that we have the perfect answer ourselves, but we say that we want to unite people that are very good with this. So that was the first year, but, you know, it was crazy to create the organization. It was not really my plan. And, you know, like, we just like went with the flow, and it was like a living organ, and we put a board with different professions that was not involved with the food system, because I don't think that the food system will be solved from the people within the food system. Partly. So that was the first year working without funding and doing all these things. And I started to have a lot of lectures and sitting in different advisory boards, and got into this more system and these different reference groups and so on. And this food system was just expanding and expanding. And I remember my mom told me, she was just like, Olga, one of your biggest assets is your lack of knowledge, because otherwise you would never do what you do. And I think you have to be a bit naive and crazy, you know, to attack some things, because otherwise it's too, if you have too much knowledge, then it's just like, so hard. So that was the first year. And then the second year we got our first founding.
Nice.
And that was
Congratulations.
From, and that was from Vinnova, the Swedish innovation agency. So that was for a format, because so parallel with developing Reformaten as an organization, then we have been working with a new infrastructure that's going to be a bridge between the eater and the farmer. That's going to be like a heart of local sustainable food systems.
Cool.
Because in today's society, okay, now we can start to speak a bit about the food environment, because then it leads in good. So food environment, that is a question that is very big in other countries, but not in Sweden, because we're so left behind with so many things. So food environment or foodscapes, that's simply the reality we live in. So that's the interface between the farmer and the eater. So everything like everything from things that you cannot see and touch, like different norms and trends and culture things and socioeconomic backgrounds, to actually the things we see, like everything from commercial to what is in the shelves, to everything we get exposed to that affect what we eat, basically. And in other countries, you've been working with food environments, like in more low-income countries, due to the lack of food, the food insecurity. So that has been a big topic due to that question. And also, like in UC, there's like food deserts. We cannot access nutrition anymore. It's just these super big bad markets and only McDonald's everywhere, So there's like, oh, it's so sad. Okay, we cannot think about that. But in Sweden, everyone think we are so healthy and fresh. So we have not been dealing with this issue. But 2 years ago, Folkhälsomyndigheten came out with a report that was about the food environment in Sweden due to the obesity is rising so much. And then they claim, it's true that Sweden lack research on this topic. So now it's actually more and more research developing on this, but still not enough. It has to go way faster, but it will. And then you lift up, because in Reformaten, we don't speak about perfect consumers, we speak about active citizens. As this has to be addressed on the highest political level and not on an individual level. Like we should not say that, you should do this and you should do that. No, we have to create the right circumstances so you have the possibility to do that. So it's very important to lift it from the individual perspective to the system perspective. So there, like the city planning and real estate agencies becomes the most important, because by how they plan the cities and what kind of food they let in and flourish in their district, they can either prevent lifestyle-related non-communicable diseases, and with what kind of food they let in, they can also, make sure that their districts repair broken soils from landscapes by letting the right actor in, and also, repairing our broken landscapes and ecosystems. So I think that the real estate agencies and also insurance companies, because, insurance companies, first of all, they don't want people to get sick because they have to pay for that. And they don't want catastrophes to happen because they have to pay for that as well. So I think it is the insurance companies and the real estate companies that's going to be like a big solution in this.
And can you elaborate more about because we have many architects, real estate people, and also planners. How do we do that? Like, if you explain to us, please, with details. Like, what do you mean?
So the format that we have been developing. We call them like district kitchens, because today everything is very commercial in the world we live in. So if you look on ground level, you see you have these super bad markets, you have restaurants that is often like chains and big and so on, because they are the ones that can afford the big rents and so on. But if you create circumstances for people to have a positive, like spend their time in a positive way by creating that infrastructure, for example, so this thing we're developing, that's like, it's a room with a program that is going to look different depending on where you put up this room with the program. So, for example, we have been working in Järva, which is a vulnerable area here in Stockholm. So many amazing food culture, so much flavor and knowledge. And their people have its issue with the public health because of it. It's like, we have these wedges. And many people, they don't have jobs. So here we have to create job opportunities, improve health. So this kitchen, for example, should provide job opportunities and also knowledge and education around healthy food and the sustainable life. And also, like, I have ADHD and I was not good in school. If I would have gotten to a school where you translate and transfer the knowledge within a kitchen and do math and so on, in a kitchen with
so
things.
Fun.
Then we have to create a society which where everyone is allowed to live, because today it's just like these 9 to 5 people that are like this society is made for. They want to do shopping, they want to study, and blah blah blah.
We program the city according to this lifestyle.
But if we create another role for food in the society, we can allow more people to have like more positive spending of their time. So this kind of kitchen And if we will put up this kind of kitchen in Danderyd, for example, they have still issues with what they eat because it's not so much organic. They would maybe just like want to have like an abonnement or some kind of like thing
subscription.
Subscription on the food box because they don't have time to cook, but they still have to eat the different food because now they order at Foodora still, you know. So depending on where you put up these kitchens, it's going to look different. And it has to be different organization and business models. Because today when you go into a supermarket, in Sweden we have a saying that is like food crown. So if you go into
crown?
No, like dollar, food dollar.
Okay.
So when you spend 100 crowns in a supermarket, then 8% of those goes to the farmer. Then 34 goes to the trade, so ICA, for example. 26 goes to the package, like Arla or something. And then it's a bit of tax. And with this business model, the farmer who's doing the hard work will never be able to handle the soil and the ecosystems well. And I don't think that you would like to spend your money that way.
Oh, that's sad.
It's so sad. So but you know, like you cannot, it's so horrible what's happening in Sweden as well, because now this has come up to the debate due to the increasing prices.
Yes.
But I want to say one thing regarding that, because I understand that it's hard with the prices. But if you're a privileged person that can afford to buy unnecessary things, like new clothes and travels and stuff that you don't actually really need, then I don't think that you're allowed to complain that the food is expensive. Because you put your money somewhere else. Yeah, you're investing. It's just how you prioritize, because you're investing in your health and other people's health by selecting good food. But I understand if it is expensive, if you cannot afford your rent and food, then you can say it. But these privileged people, which most of the people in Sweden are, shut it and read a bit, educate yourself and see. I understand it because so many people lack the knowledge, but if more people would do, like, we have just like to change the system somehow. So but today, these leaders of like ICA, Coop and Axfood, some of them get death threats and have to have lifeguards because people are so angry with that they raise their prices. And that's also wrong. Come on, we cannot solve all the issues with violence. Can people just like act a bit friendly? And we have to speak with each other and, do solutions. But in Reformaten, we have selected to, like, we're going to speak with those and do probably like collaboration of how we can help them to do better promotions and how we can help them change what's on the shelf. But we have to become strong enough. We're a super small organization.
How many are you?
We are a working board of 7 people. We're 2 persons full-time employed. And then we have a small, like some people half-time in projects. So we're still like so early stage. We've just been existing 2.5 years, So this is like we're still understanding what we're gonna do and in the very best way to do it. And we're so open for collaborations. But to affect the big players and these like big industries, we have to become stronger before and also have the resources. We also have like a network with 70 volunteers.
70.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
people and it's many people writing to us and want to engage, but now we don't have the resources to take care of people.
Yeah, but you tell me about the kitchen. Like, is it something physical? Is it like a room?
It's like it's an infrastructure. So imagine like take, for example, I think it's a great example in California. Then they have like these commercial kitchens because many people want to be involved in doing food and catering and stuff, but we don't have the infrastructure for making people doing that, because you need to have a kitchen which is like confirmed by the public agencies.
Okay.
So, for example, say that I want to develop a chili sauce. I have grown some chili and want to do this chili sauce. Then I cannot do it with today's infrastructure. But if we have like this public kitchen which has all the improvements, then I can go there, do my chili sauce and start to sell it, So this would allow people to have a place and also organizations. Take, for example, the Kurdish förening, like organization. They want to raise money for something. And have like 2 tons of apples in their gardens. Then they can use those apples and produce something like bake apple pie and sell it and use that kitchen. So that could be an income source for different kind of actors within the society. Those kitchen could also be educational. They could be sometimes as like they can host a program that we have like cooking classes every morning for kids. So it can be, you know, that on Sundays it's a program where you can come and do your lunch boxes as a group. I would need that. Like I would love to do that. Yet you unite 10 people on a Sunday, you prepare lunch boxes, switch together with each other, and then you have it for the rest of the week, because I hate to go out to lunch restaurants. I hate it.
So it's a physical kitchen.
Yeah.
And so for community. Yeah. How is it big? How big is it?
I would say it's depending on where you put it up. So we have only been prototyping and developing this. And we have been working towards Järva because there we see a big potential due to, I think, you know, like this commercial food system. We're going to knock it out with this. Okay. And then it's like so much cooler to do it with all these amazing people and the food culture that really need it. And we can see like big impact of it. That's like high impact long term, you know. Okay. If we would start to do it in Danderyd, where they have like better health and so on, then it would be like so easy to do it. But I think like by doing this, we get a much richer concept. But when we got this money from Vinnova, I had never heard the word process. You know, I come from the underground world. Like my friends, they kick up a festival for 1,000 of people in a day. You know, like you come up with an idea and the next day it's done. So when we got this Vinnova money, I was just like, fuck yes, now we're going to open 10 district kitchens. I was so happy. I was finally, now
it's time,
But Johan, he was not like a project leader. He was a process leader. And I was just like, have you written wrong? Like, is it? I was just like, because like, when I read something, I just read it and it kind of looks the same, you know? And he was just like, no, Olga, I'm a process leader. I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like,
what is process?
Yeah. And then I understood. And he was just like, Olga, we're not going to open one single place this 18 months. I was just like, what? He was just like, we are going to just prototype and process and understand what this kind of place can be. And, you know, I was crying for 3 weeks. I was just like, I never want to have money again. Like, I hate it. And, you know, this process was just a big fucking headache with bureaucracy that came up between the coming up with the idea and it's done. So for me personally, it has been horrible in one way because
you need like going very slow.
I sit in like many talks and group talks. Like it's just like I'm not made for having like that big timelines. You know, like I've been dying so many times.
So months of suffering.
Yeah, but it has also been like one of the coolest things I have done. You know, like last year we hosted an event on Äggbygård, which is a house in the middle of Järvafältet. Yeah. So we had like a Reformaten conference where we had like 5 different hours where we were discussing different steering documents and how they go against each other. So the first hour was global perspective. The next one was European. Then it was national. Then it was regional. Then it was local. And then we were looking at all these different perspectives. And then on the other side of the room, we had like different possibilities with walls. Like what kind of food do people want to see served here? Okay. And then in the evening, it was like Ramadan, so it was like iftar, and we were breaking the fasting in the evening
together.
So we had a dinner for 150 people, and we had like 5 different food cultures cooking the food on the produce that we were selecting. So Mustafa Satara is such a cool guy. He has something called the Förortsentreprenörer. Okay. His sister, and they're from Syria. She was one that was cooking the food. Then it was Ayan from Somalia, Rukaya from Bangladesh, my mother from Finland. And then Patricia that comes from USA. Yeah. So these 5 women were cooking the food on this produce. And like at one point, all these like men were standing and praying on the stage, and we had like top researchers and families with many kids.
It's a nice diversity.
It was such a cool event. It was magic in the air. Like I got goosebumps by speaking of it, you know, like you never know what's going to happen. You know, we were standing with a rutabaga and speaking about what you can do with it. And some people have never seen it. And we're just like, food unite people, food raise the quality of life.
That's true. So what is the next for Reformaten? What do you want to do? Is it like create this kind of community public kitchen in each area, or how is it going to be?
We for sure want to develop that with the people that want to be a part and develop that, because we need all that. Like, this is such a complex thing we are doing, so we don't have the perfect answer. We need to align with people that have the same passion.
Process.
Yeah. You know what? Now when I go into meeting, I'm just like, we could be the process leaders. I just want to kill myself sometime. And we just got accepted into a big EU project that is about like transforming food environments.
Nice.
And then it was actually, thank you.
Good job.
Then it was actually 350 people projects applying, and we were the ones that got it in Europe. So that's like super cool.
Yeah.
And that's about like, the headline is, it's not easy to eat right in Stockholm, because so we're gonna mobilize different stakeholders in Stockholm and try to work with the food environment, how we can change that as soon as possible. That is one project that is up, and then we have done, like, we are involved in different applications, and I don't know if they're official or not, so I don't dare to say something to fuck it up. But that's more like a collaboration with different big research institutions.
Yes.
And one, without mentioning anyone, I can say, like, it's a global research project, and it's like high, middle, and low income countries. So it's like Sweden, South Africa, and Ghana. We don't know if we're going to get this application or not, but I really hope so.
Hopefully,
and I think
yes.
we got a good chance. And that's about how different interventions, physical interventions that you can see, can prevent non-communicable diseases, and how interventions can transform different food environments.
Yeah.
So if we would get this, then we could research of how this pleases, because we only want to drive research-proven solutions.
Of course.
So that would be so cool if we would get that. But then we want to put up a first place and collaborate with different stakeholders. Maybe like, I think I pitch it like Reformaten. We work within the current food system and try to lobby and do that as least bad as possible, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But this with the district kitchen is building up a new infrastructure on other business and organization models, decentralized, way more influence, communities taking over the food, like the control over nutrition, I would say.
It's more also like spreading awareness, raising awareness about the system, the food.
Yeah, and
health.
so many people working with this, if we can like create change on an individual level and infrastructure level. But then on the other side, like we have been working, we have something called like a matbarometer, like a food. It's a survey that we go out each year to the different political parties and map what kind of science-based steering methods they are against or for.
Yeah.
To be able to see the landscape of what is going to be done on a political level. And I can say you absolutely nothing 2 years in a row. Like no political party there to do this due to that it is uncomfortable choices in the short term. And there's issues with the political system. They want to just be elected next year or next time it is election. So they don't dare to do what is actually needed to be done. But also, I'm so sad about how you frame this transformation towards a sustainable society we have to do, because it's actually way more attractive than the old lifestyle. Like so many people are depressed in today's society, so many people sit lonely, so many people don't find meaning in life. And by working with food, you create meaning, you become healthier, you see life from a different perspective, you help others, and people feel good with helping and, being part of something that is a change.
Yeah.
So here I think we have to do a new labeling for the transformation and say that it's going to be more fun, tasty, and something we do together. And I want to add something that is maybe a disturbing thought. I love it to mess with people's brain. I'm a bit tired of this global sustainability goals.
The 17?
Yeah, the 17, because they are so big and complex. And, you have these 17 goals.
Yeah.
And you have 169 part goals.
Yeah.
And today it works like, companies and organizations, they choose to report on one of them and don't look on the thing that everything is interconnected and linked together.
Okay.
So they choose one and then they say, oh, look at us, we're so good with this. And then they fuck up the rest. And, you know, we don't have time for that. That's too complex. So everyone just go around with their little bottom with this colorful rainbow and
Tag,
I'm so sustainable. And just like, I understand it's super good that we have something and it's good. But I like a framework that is called One Health.
One Health.
And that's, you know, like it's 3 circles. It's like the health of the nature, plants and ecosystem and so, plants. Then it's 1 circle is health of the animals.
Okay.
And then 1 circle, there's health of the humans. So everything living. And that in the middle, then you reach One Health as the meeting point. And the circle around them, that's the ecosystem. So by using this framework instead and looking, okay, how is this solution affecting these 3 circles? Then I think it become way more holistic. And we don't have time to deal in silos anymore. Like, we cannot do that. You know, we're fucking running out of time. And if people think it's chaotic on the world now with different epidemics going and blah, blah, wait and see. This is just like, a very short.
Olga, tell me, like, what can we as planners and architects work with this topic? When we design, how should we design?
I would say, like, I would say, first, you always have to involve the local community. So if you want to develop an area, find out the different key stakeholders, independent one, not the commercial ones, as the community. Get to know the neighbors, like what do people want, what do they need? That's the most important, that you need to have ownership from it, that the people that have, like, they know, like, what they want and need. But then people need help with the knowledge. So first of all, I would say that educate yourself, get to know the food's impact and role that it can have.
As a planner and architect, read more.
Both for yourself, but also for your industry. Like what kind of, you need to know the landscape and the what's going on. Then, like, create possibilities for people to live in a positive way. Like how, like, all our cities has to become greener. So it's really good with the urban farming and so on. But it's, I would say, also extremely important that the food that is, maybe like create a framework that the food that you let into your houses and neighborhoods should be food that comes from healthy soils and landscapes that feel good. Like, I think this to create a way between the city and the countryside, and some kind of big bridges. Do so your spaces allow people to interact and live their life in a positive way, and save space for the green areas. Like, we have to have a way greener lifestyle, and just by letting people have a garden, they can start to grow something, you know. So I think that instead of giving fish to people, teach them how to fish. You know, like, make them independent, get ownership, and see that you have an extreme possibility. And with possibilities, then it comes responsibilities and it's power, you know. Like, with your profession, you can do so people can live a healthy and sustainable life. And, you know, like, you create their their structure for life. So educate and get involved with an organization like ours. We really want to work with real estate agencies. And also, sorry, like, but these real estate owners, they are fucking rich. So you should also pay for this, I have to say. Because long term you will because today, you know, you have these quarter reports, and that's only on the financial, like, how much profit did we do? Sustainability, the word is like 3 dimensions: social, ecologic, and financial. So I think we should start to do like these quarterly reports on growth in organic matters, in social matters, and economic matters. And the companies
so not only economic.
No. So the companies that start to do that first, are of course going to beat the ones, the others. So take your role as leaders, you know. This is so fucking fun and tasty and nice. So by doing this, you like, it's a journey, it's a process. So take the role. I don't know.
Yeah. So it is about providing a space for greenery, like for farming, for I don't know.
Cooking possibilities.
Yeah.
You know, like before everyone or like many people, you had this like laundry structure in the bottom of the house.
Yeah.
What if you would do like a mega food storage instead? That you put in like 2 kilos of lentils. How would that affect the health in the house? Because we were playing with the terms like how would like a stadsdelskök, so like a
community kitchen.
Yeah, community kitchen, but more on a city level be. So that is one size. And what could those kind, like a smaller kitchen that is just for heating up food be in like another house? And how could a bigger kitchen be working with like washing? Because food is also complex. So like, for example, when it comes in a lot of dirty potatoes, then you need to have some facilities
to wash it
to
and
wash
make it.
So how could like a regional kitchen look? So how can we build?
So it's like more introducing these functions on the different scales.
Yeah,
from regional, city, community.
Exactly.
It's like more kitchen food oriented function space.
Exactly. And also put demands on the commercial actors that you let into your houses. Say to the restaurants that they have to have a certain quality of the food, or like say to the super bad markets that they have to provide a certain amount of organic. And do you know what? Say that forbid commercials that is shit towards the public. It was so interesting. I was in a panel discussion. Then it was like the Heart and Lung Foundation did a report together with UNICEF. Stefan, you know.
Yes. He's
Stefan.
amazing.
I love Stefan. Yeah. He's been so involved in everything we do.
Yeah.
But then it was like 4 different schools that was participating, and it was the children that did this research, or they were going around the school with their phones and taking photos of everything they were seeing. So commercial and what kind of food that was in their area.
Yeah.
Of course, like I think it was 90 or 95% was shit. Like non-sustainable, non-healthy. And then this was released during some panel discussions. And it's also this with multi-buys, that people are really pushed to buy this shitty food, like buy 3 Cokes for
some deal.
Yeah, some deal. And then it was one panel discussion with some kids.
Yeah.
And Stefan were doing the interviews, and one girl, she was just like, oh, we have to shape up and do better. And Stefan was just like, who has to shape up and do better? And she was just like, we kids, we have to eat better. And I was just like, my blood were just freezing. I was just like, almost starting to cry. And then it was my panel discussion afterwards. And then it was Annika Solström, great person. She's like the general director of Livsmedelsverket. Love her. And then it was Karin Tegnell or something. And she's the general director of Folkhälsomyndigheten. Then it was Karin Brynell. And she's like head of Dagligvaruhandeln, this lobbyist organization I told you about. And Jimmy, he's like Livsmedelsföretagen, that's lobby organization we talked about. So we were going to speak about this report. And in the report, some kid has stated, commercial, they are like trees. We don't think about it. They are just there. And you get so affected by it unconsciously. So I started my presentation with that. I hope that every grown-up in the room heard that these kids put the responsibility of their shitty health on their shoulders when it's us grown-up that are responsible and create their reality. And I got so angry, like I just wanted to okay, I should not hit someone. It's not good with violence. But, I get so angry and sad that this is the truth.
It's very sad.
And then, of course, I'm always aligning with the public agencies because they say the same thing just with another language. And the same with the researchers. I just repeat what researchers say. I don't say something radical. Everything I say is like actually
based on.
Yeah, it's like facts and how it is. And then I maybe spice it up with my style, but I cannot. I'm just who I am.
I understand.
But then this guy from Livsmedelsföretagen, he was just like, but the industry do good things. We're, for example, done lentils chips. also developed a new product in the category of chips,
Cool.
like expanding the shelves of the chips. I was just like, great solutions. Do more products, expand the shelves of the chips. Great solution for the obesity. Do you understand where we are?
Yeah.
We are in emergency state. No one want to take responsibilities.
Yeah.
So we have to collaborate, everyone. And if you don't care for the future for yourself because you're gonna be dead, do it for your kids and do it for the people, because it's a privilege to say like, oh, we do it for the future. No, people are suffering this very second.
Yeah.
Like now, today, in Sweden, in Europe, in the world, like everyone that is privileged should take a responsibility and fucking act.
Yeah.
I forgot, it was something important.
I can ask you the question about how can we, can cities help in producing food? If yes, how?
Yeah, cities have a super, super important role to play here, I think. Cities, but it's like how you plan a city, like what kind of a thing you give space to. And either you have a healthy city, which creates space for healthy living, healthy and sustainable living, or you just do big gallerias and shopping malls. It's actually not that hard. It's just like to expand your thoughts a bit. And it's so many other cities that are developing in a good way. You have like within the C40. Oh, okay, this is actually interesting. I have to add it.
Tell me.
So I was in a workshop in Stadshuset, like the
City Hall
in Stockholm, because they are going to do a new miljöprogram, like environmental program for the city.
Yeah.
And then you have like one program that is about biodiversity, and one that is about the climate, and one that is about the public health, and blah, 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 so on. The word food environment was not mentioned once, even though a transformation of the food environment has solved them all. So you're working on this on a national level.
Yeah.
Not
city
on
level.
A city level. So our society is so complex, so people are not aware about everything that is going on. So we had to create these arenas, even though like the reference groups, there is a lot of real estate companies within the reference group that look at this program, but
not acting.
No one in that room knew the word food environment. You understand?
I understand you. So tell me, like, let's say to contribute to the solution of the food problem we have, what can we do in cities? Like, what do we need? Like, do I need a large farm, or what do I need to put in my city in order to contribute to the solutions?
I would say, first, create as much sustainable food production as possible.
Which means, like, I need to put farms or factories.
Would be amazing. I would say, I could totally see that happening, to get more like farmers, or letting out like roofs for something. We have to get as least and dependent on the global industrial food system as fast as possible, to just to
more local farm to the city.
Instead of like it's this markets that is for people that don't earn so much money. So instead of giving people the right to shop in this market, give them a garden and grow their own food, please. And then also like save all the green areas that is possible. We have to have a green and living city. And also like when you plan new parts of town, create possibilities for people to grow their own food, because that is a value of their life and other people's life.
Yes.
And then also, we have to have these green areas. It's super important for our well-being, just physical and mentally. And not only let it out to commercial actors. So if we find a way to measure the impact our industries do to the social and or ecological questions, then it will be way different.
What do you think about this vertical farming and so on? Is it a good idea? Is it healthy, sustainable?
Like it's better than fertilized.
Like the indoors farming.
I know. Like everything that doesn't destroy the few soils we have left, I would say is good, but it's not the solution. Sometimes people can be blind and just see like, oh, it's green on the wall, we have solved it. No, our landscapes are destroyed. We have to repair them, because just by that is like taking Alvedon for cancer. Like, no, not like it's not preventing the disaster that this problem is gonna cause, but it's a bit making us less dependent.
So it's contributing somehow to the solution.
Yeah, but sometimes when you do this thing, that can take away the focus on solving the real issues.
The real problem.
So it's like a nice little spice, cool that you do it, but this other thing that I'm speaking about, extremely much more impact.
So let's say, because now we talking city-wise,
research. Okay,
tell me.
Found research, collaborate with research institute. We have to research and we do that. Like, okay, what happens if we put up a district kitchen and only produce that is coming from healthy soils? How much more carbon do we store? Okay, and if we take this produce, how many broken ecosystems do we repair? How many lives do we save? So I would say start to research immediately how cities and the infrastructure that you provide for your citizens can improve life and contribute to a sustainable world.
Yeah, of course, it's very important.
Yeah.
And back to this point, like we are making more space in the buildings for vertical farming.
Yeah.
Because they don't need a sunlight. Everything is indoor.
I don't know the nutrition of that, I have to say. Like nutrition wise, because nutrients come from soils, so I would love
some of them. There is no, I guess there is no soil at all. Something. No. Maybe there's some technology. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Like, and it's also really funny, this food tech world that we're developing.
Yeah.
Food tech have extremely much money. Like people just throw money in that. So someone should also research that, because I cannot see something as I don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
But I would say more. Also, bring in positive food in your venues and create spaces. Like, people love to have events. Create a possibility for people to have cooking events where they cook together. So this big office that we're in now, if you would do an event space and you take these amazing chefs and farmers and do this Friday after works, we're gonna do
cooking together or food talk.
Yeah, because we have really food talks, and we have really experienced that when you have one conversation with a person and it's not food involved, like cooking or eating, then you get one quality of the conversation. But if you do it with food and cooking, then you come way deeper immediately. It's like this relationship building.
I love to ask you, because next week we have an event, and they are going to talk about 3D printed
so much fun.
This, I don't know, what do you call it? Not 3D print, printed food, something like this. Do you know? But there is something coming, you produce food.
Is it
and
Gustav?
It's like
Gustav jävligt gott.
I don't know. You produce something of you produce something let's say you produce a chicken meat, but it's not chicken. I don't know, something like this. I will attend and know more next week.
This is the food tech world.
Tell me.
Please ask them how the research is looking, how that is going to affect the public health long term.
So healthy, okay.
Yeah, because we have not done research. This is pretty new.
Yeah, it's super new. Yeah.
What if everyone that eats this is gonna get cancer in 5 years? We don't have the research of what's happening to the bodies. We should not eat a lot of processed food. That we know for sure.
Processed food is the food
that is printed by 3D printers.
Okay, the one I'm going to eat.
Yeah. Fuck it. This is a no-brainer, actually. Just eat normal food. What the fuck? See, tell them that from me, actually.
So you think that instead of solving, instead of doing 3D or vertical, we should solve our landscape.
Soil. Soil health. I would say the two most important words in this. It's three. Soil health, nutrition, and food environments. That is what we have to focus on, and holistic solutions. Because super fun with this 3D printed meat that some philanthropy can throw money on and be like, oh, I'm saving the climate, but you're fucking someone's health and you're not contributing to good soil. So I don't know what to say. It's so complex.
A lot more research needs to be done.
More research, because what if this is going to be super bad? And so much money, take just I think that the food industry will develop the same as the tobacco industries. Like it was so much lobby work done to stop like how you forbid the tobacco and so on. So I think like it's going to be the same thing, and we're going to see pushback from the industry. And the industry, you know, they are really like pressing the politicians. For example, now in the Nordic countries, they're going to come out with the new Nordic nutrition recommendations. So that's like a framework.
Good, no?
Yeah, but that's come out every 8th or 10th year. And that's like something that is on the Nordic level. Then to transform it into kostråd, like dietary guidelines, you do it on a national level. And now like they're going to lower the amount of red meat from 500 to 350 grams.
Per week or per what?
Yeah, exactly. But now the researchers get death threats from the meat lobby, because that's not good for deer. But you know, like I think, like in a while, we're gonna look back at the commercials and be like,
yeah, exactly.
Look how stupid we were. We thought that it was good, and we're gonna be like,
I mean, we are doing it now, no? Like
And then also we're gonna be looking back and just like, I think industrial animal farming, that's like, first of all, like non-organic meat, like just from the point of view that it's fucking mean to the animals, you know, like to keep like...
You mean like animal farming? Like
industrial animal farming. It's disgusting. And that's, you know, like a big source of the pandemics we have. That's, you know, our relationship to this, you know, mad cow disease, chicken flu or bird flu or like all of this, you know, even corona, they come from markets where animals are, you know. So... 2 good episodes on vetenskaps, like a vetenskaps TV show about this. But it's not the resilient way of having food, the production. But then we're going to look back, because just of an ethical and moral point of view, how mean is it to keep these animals in these houses? Like, it's disgusting. It was this reportage on the news some years ago in Sweden, where it was a few persons that have been misshandled, found beating some chickens outside one of these big warehouse. Like, And then they were filming like these chickens, like these crazy people, like hitting these chickens. And then the next clip was them filming in this big hall, no light, and like maybe 2 million chickens.
Wow.
And I was just like, what is the most violent? The thing, the lucky bastard, they get to die immediately, or the 2 million poor chickens that are inside this.
That's
you know, we live in such a crazy world, but we're gonna wake up from this, because when we do that, life is gonna be so much more tasty and fun for everyone.
So I have a question to close the city topic. What should we as urban planners stop doing when we plan cities?
Let McDonald's and all this shitty food processing into the city, or demand them to do it healthy and sustainable.
You mean like their food production?
See that you have
as planners, we cannot control but we give the planner, like, we give a space.
But for example, like, but don't let in players that is not good for the people and the planet.
So
like,
we put like the healthy food criteria, or healthy food productions.
Communities and organizations that would like to do that, because it's so many people that want to cook and eat and have events. So
what if the people tells that, no, give me these
McDonald's.
Restaurants. I mean, not only McDonald's. Now we're saying McDonald's because it's super famous. Let's say like these famous restaurants, fast food restaurants.
Fast food restaurants, we can say. Then I would say that, of course, people want that, because they
only know this.
And also, you know, people are... what it's inside those processed meals, people get addicted to. People are addicted to salt, fat, and sugar right now. So people would say that, I want McDonald's. It's not that people don't want it. They're addicted to it. But when people get the knowledge and create an event and do your Big Mac burger event, and we do it with good farmers and good chefs, because it's so many farmers and good chefs that would do that. And, you know, like, it's not that we have to stop to eat burgers. It's like we have to eat better burgers.
Because like I work a lot with communities as urban planners. And when we talk, in between the talks, I ask about, okay, what do you think make this area livable?
Yeah.
And they tell me a fast food restaurant, like this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And I say, why? Because they give us food fast and we sit with the friends and so on. So people actually, this is the dream for them.
Yeah.
For small kids as well.
Yeah.
Is like, give me this fast food chain.
Yeah. Because we live in that kind of society, but we have to change that. And, by doing an event and instead like, okay, now we have to create a feast. The first thing you do, create a party where you do this food and people get to taste it. You cannot only like ask, you have to get people to experience.
Yeah, show them the option, the other option.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So you have to like do these activities together and explore. And you can never come from a top and say, it's going to be like this. That you can do to the politician and the industry, but to the people, you have always tried to invite
together
them, and
with
they
them.
have to do it, and you have to explore it together and do this process together.
So for you, let's say if these fast food chains fix their way of production, the way of they are doing hamburger or the food production, is it still fine to give them a space in the city?
I would say like they have to develop a lot. Like it's not one place that have a organic burger, but in the dream world,
like a dream scenario or utopia.
I would say like the world has gone down before this is possible. But try it. It would be super interesting if you would get one of them to do it. That's good. Would push and nudge the whole market. And I used to just like organic Swedish fries on one of these places would be so interesting to see. But I have a dream to actually do that. But that's later.
Yes. So the second question or the last question about the city: what should we as urban planners learn as a skill?
Yeah.
Skills. What should we develop for me?
The knowledge about food's impact on the world, on the landscape, on the climate, on the public health. Like this is just the beginning of a really big shift.
Yeah.
And you can play a huge role and speed up this transformation and make people not suffer today.
Yeah.
So I would say educate yourself.
Yes.
And it's so important that you get a holistic education and independent. Because we have something called Orkla in Sweden, which is like a big and they have something called Orkla Solutions, and they do like these lessons. But super cool, except from that you don't have anything healthy in your whole assortment. So then it becomes like a bit hypocrite that they should teach about sustainability, but they don't have sustainability. So and collaborate with researchers.
I told people that I'm going to interview you, and they send the question also, like, is it going to save the world if I be a vegan or eat vegetarian food? Is this a solution to what? Can you talking about raise awareness, educate? Can you tell me your perspective on this? Yeah.
Like it's really good that you do what you can on an individual level, but then I would say you have to eat less, or like in general, population-wise, we have to eat less meat. I don't know how much exactly you eat, but the most important is that the thing that you eat, no matter if it's vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, that it's healthy, that is sustainable and healthy produced.
Okay.
So if you just want to eat salad and beans, eat organic ones and build a relationship to the farmer. And, that's the most important.
Yeah.
It's not what you eat, it's how it is produced.
Yeah, because now it's a lot of talk, okay, I don't eat meat and so on. Yeah. At the same time, I get my avocado from Mexico.
Yeah. No, not good.
So I think I'm doing good, but in reality, it's not.
No. Because that is not the holistic picture. It's good because it's not cruel to the animals at least. So it's maybe that depends on what values you have as a person. So it's maybe, I understand it from a moral and ethical point of view to the animals, but not to the microorganism in the soil and not to the people living in Mexico. So for some aspects it's good, but some others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before moving to the next section, it's really interesting to hear all of this. Is very new for me, and I think also for our listeners, we never had this passionate guest talking this, also using so much bad language.
Sorry, that's really my bad.
But anyway, I'm so happy to have you. I learn a lot now,
Thank Thank you.
in this talk.
But can you explain me then? Because I also want to learn. When you plan a city, or like a district, or developing a new area, city planning, how do you think about the food?
About the food?
Yeah.
We don't think.
You don't think?
Like, to be honest, this is like, of course, I'm not involved in every single project, in every single cities and so on. But usually, like, cities define their needs, and if on their agenda to give something to the farming, they will plan it. But usually we don't include this farming in cities.
No.
This is out of the city, the countryside and so on, rural area and so on. But city-wise, we think about like buildings, maybe, parks, or like green areas, but not for production. It's mostly like building, roads, and other function, more like entertainment and so on. But mostly to the buildings. So we like, because the city sell the land, so they can get money, and the one who is buying it maximize the building area, so they can rent it out and generate money. So not so much thinking of how do we produce food.
No, but like, for example, just like park, you can have eatable parks. Put like apple trees.
We talked about this, and in there's it's actually not so much nice what is going to happen, because we are moving toward not having parks with eatable fruits because of it's cost a lot to the city to maintain this, to take care of the trees, to collect fruit. I know it's like super annoying and stupid, but in the end, it's a question of money. Like, cities, they don't want to put money on the maintenance aspect.
Yeah.
But
But like, you could let that out to communities. Yeah. Communities would do it for free, and they get their food.
And this is what we are afraid of doing, like creating this model of involving community, because we don't want to give people control. We want to control.
But that's not kind.
Of course not kind, but in the end, it's like less headache and less, we're saving money.
Or you just like maybe can employ someone that would be like taking care of that from your own.
I guess community will be more than happy, like this association will be happy to take care of this. But like, it's not existing in some cities' agenda that we involve community in making decisions. I know it's sad reality and very
I don't know
old.
So much about this area, so I think it's super fun to learn.
Yeah, so it's a way of planning, of controlling. It's that only cities should take care of and control. We don't want to involve communities so much, and it's very sad.
Yeah,
it's happening, like, but it's not in the scale that is going to be some change.
But do you think that could change, or is it like regulations or interest?
No, of course, it's not a big deal, to tell us to create association, or to invite association and tell them, okay, community, we have this park. What shall we plant? How can we take care of this school, preschool? Can you be part of this? Kids,
like school gardens.
It's not a big deal. We are people. We just need to sit and talk and say, okay, you do this, I do this, and done. But we are so much afraid of doing mistakes and not believing that we together can do something. So we just stick to what we by the book, and it's only planners who should do that, or city should control, and that's it.
But that's like, then everything is predictable. Or like,
this is what you don't like, Look, like cities, let's say most of the cities, and let's say more Nordic, more Swedish, they like to predict exactly every single thing's going to happen, and not leaving a space for some spontaneous life. This is what makes our cities so dead.
Yeah. And also, like, if I would accept that and respect if people and everything would be feeling healthy and good.
Yeah.
But look where we are. It's going down. It's really,
it's
really
very sad,
bad.
Olga. I was like, I had a project in an area and talk with kids. How should we transform the area, make it more child friendly? And it's so sad. They are suffering from fetma. What do you call it in English?
Obesity.
Yeah, because of they don't do activities outdoor. No. There is no space for them. So instead, they have very bad health or like a physical shape, because they cannot like play or exercise or run. Just be outside and go or walk. And it's so sad, and it's because the how the area was planned and designed.
Oh, that's so horrible.
Yeah.
But I think that each school should have a school garden. Like a garden where the kids can grow their seeds. They can get involved in the nature. They
learn.
Eat. They can eat what
also,
becomes. I think it's in France, like some kids think that the cow is purple due to the Milka chocolate. Like it's sad. This is so bad. We're probably the same issues here.
Yeah.
Like we need to get kids out. They have to move. They have to get a respectful life. Like what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are we like destroying ourselves, our kids, and
yeah.
So this is the planning. It's in the end, it's about like the economical aspect, the need,
but also the economical aspect. Like if you're gonna have a sick population, okay.
Thing is, we don't see the long term.
Yeah, because so if you have a area, now I'm just thinking loud. If you have an area and the population can afford to move there in the beginning, then it's gonna come this gentrification during time, and then people are gonna be. Because poorer neighborhood, they have a worse health, and then they're gonna become like have sick notes and earn less money and not be able to live there. They're gonna move out, and it's the next area and blah 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 blah. So that is gonna cost long term because you need to like renovate new tenants and so on. So. This short-term profits.
Exactly. This is what we don't pay attention to. Is like what's happening next.
How can you do that? How can you force planners and so on to think long-term? How can you do that?
Yeah, it's like so much like so many different actors in this. First, of course, the political.
Yeah.
But the planner, it's us.
Yeah,
it's about us because not so many people know how to plan.
No,
or what is it? How is the system works? But it's about us planners, like let's say in the municipality, in the regional level, national level, come together and say, okay, let's see what research is telling us, and we need to change the rules. But the thing is that we're not really doing it because it takes so much energy and headache, and it's about leadership as well.
Yeah. But
instead we just like
Okay, Mustafa, I have a great idea. Let's start a movement for that.
Plan for
plan for and then it could be like one health cities movement or something. Because I think that if people would know, they would not say no of helping when they realize
if they see the benefits. They will understand. Okay, that's why.
But you are already a leader within what you do. So
that's why you're also here. Like raising this awareness and redoing stuff.
Yeah, I think we got something great going on here. I just see develop.
Reformaten.
Yeah, because like when people unite, like I think also, people want to get out of this wheel because people are stressed about what's happening.
Yeah.
Like just put on the TV and it's disaster here, disaster there, disaster there. Like people don't want to have a disaster life, but we have to create opportunities for people to contribute to positive transformation.
Yeah.
So by doing that, it's just someone that has to do the first step.
Exactly.
And when you've done that, then it's just like...
slowly. Yeah. Amazing. So are you ready to move to the next section? It's going to be more about you.
Sure.
So what motivates you and give you passion to do what you're doing? Like, what is the secret that gives you this energy?
That I love life. I think it's so much fun. Like when I go to bed, then I'm excited for waking up the next day. I'm almost like, so boring to sleep. But now I've learned how to sleep. It's really important.
Okay. 8 hours?
Yeah. Like I wake up at 5. I go to bed around 10.
Okay, still, this is good.
Yeah.
But 5 is very early.
No, it's just like I love, that's my golden hour, like when I wake up, I do like, first, I do meditation, 15 minutes. Then I write my developing journal, like what I'm grateful for, what I want to learn today, and so on.
Cool.
Then I do like 15 minutes yoga, and then I'm out in the nature, either running or doing kayaking.
Yeah.
So I spend 1 hour in the nature before the city has been waking up every morning.
So silent, only the birds.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
I love it. I really need this quality time with myself and nature in the morning.
Do you do this every day, like writing?
The writing, and then that's my morning thing. And then in the evening, then I have other questions. So I ask myself, what I've learned today, what am I proud of, and I'm only allowed to write 3 sentences.
Points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I write what was the most fun, what person gave most impressions, and
today.
then I try. Yeah.
Wow.
You are probably going to be the one today.
Thank you.
Or if not something major happening today.
Don't meet anybody.
No. You never know. And then I write. Because before I was never happy with what I did. I was just like, oh, this is not enough. This sucks.
Yeah.
And then I write like what do I take with me from today? Like what is the most important thing?
Yeah.
So by doing this reflection, each day becomes so valuable.
Yeah, because you see the errors and then you try to correct them.
And I learn, and I've done so many mistakes, but I never regret something because I've learned something from everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you go back and look on what you wrote, like let's say last month, or no? You're doing it day by day and moving on.
I do sometimes. I do. I want to get better to that, like on doing that, going back more
and checking. Yeah.
But every day I evaluate like what I did, like because in the morning I write 3 things that I want to have done to be satisfied with the day, and it can be something like I have to have sent those emails, I have to have done this presentation.
More like a
to-do list, but just 3 points.
Okay.
And it can also be like things like calling my dad or not canceling this thing.
Anything that makes you feel that you contribute for a better world.
Yeah, for myself, for my surrounding. So, like when I got my ADHD diagnosis, because I've been working so much, because I really, I could not see why I should relax when so many people suffering and I'm so privileged. So then I was working too much and of course I had a little breakdown. And then I really learned this with therapy. So you have this life area. So you have your profession.
Yes.
Then you have your health, you have your relationships, and you have your spare time. So in these 4 areas, I always try to plan my week. So some days is maybe more focused on one day, but I try to find the balance with this. And I have my basic rule that is like, okay, before I've done this, I cannot do anything, because this saying that if you not help yourself, you cannot help others.
True.
So I have this with the sleeping, my journaling, then I have to eat 3 good meals a day. And
3?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So I don't eat shit. I love, but I go out to good restaurants and stuff as well. But I prepare my own food. It comes from healthy soils, and I'm really like a sucker for quality.
Yeah.
So 3 good meals. And then my working hours, like I have a small little box at home. So there it says like 8 to 18. So after that, I put in my digital devices, like my phone and MacBook
laptop
in there, because I need to take it away physically to not interact with it.
Okay, cool.
I have this burner phone sometimes in the weekends, I'm really, weird. And then it is workout. Like if I don't work out, then I lose
6.
Yeah, no, I do it in the morning.
Okay,
so I start my day with that. So those 5 things I do every day, and then out of that, I create my life. Yeah.
What happened after 6?
Now I try to not see people every day.
Not to see people?
Yeah, because I need I need to be quiet, I speak every hour a lot.
So and, more charging, calming down.
I have so many amazing friends. I am really spoiled with that. In my life, I'm not prioritized to make money. I am prioritized to make relationships.
That's nice.
And, I cannot have a relationship because, I cannot fall in love right now, because then I'm going to be like everyone else, just creating kids and not be busy with
I understand
that.
You.
In a few years, when I've done come a bit further, then I want to maybe have many kids.
Yeah, when you feel the moment.
Kids,
yeah.
And I am a kid myself. But now I have to focus on what I'm doing. So I'm protecting myself from that. But friend-wise, I have so many friends that have amazing restaurants, many good friends that are DJs.
Nice.
So I have to avoid to do too many fun things. And that's so boring, because I've been a person that don't say
no,
and I love to maybe squeeze in 2 dinners in one night.
You love life.
I love to live
socializing.
life. Yeah. Very privileged.
Yeah. What are your hobbies? Like, do you have time to do something?
Like I'm do the running and kayaking.
This is your hobbies, yeah.
But then also I like cooking with friends, going out to the nature.
Yeah.
I love to paint. Holy Reformaten and what we do, I've been just like drawing on big papers. If you come to my place,
you mean like sketching?
Yeah, sketching. Yeah. Because my head is not compromising with the screen. Like it's so limited, the space and possibilities.
Yes.
So I have to draw. Like I have a crazy room.
Like architects.
Yeah. And then I love to just like hang with people and like speak about interesting stuff. I've got to know so many interesting people.
That's good.
I think I have the most enjoyable and fun life you can have because all these people that are engaged in this question, I've got to know so many that really care about the world and what they do. And for me, the most fun is to get to know someone that is nerd within their world
area,
because then I get to learn so much within such a short time.
That's true.
So I love it. As I've not been studying, I have 7.5 high school points. I've not done university.
Wait, what do you mean by is it
I've
like
not done university?
So like from the 180 points, you have 7.5. What did you study in? What was this course?
It was something with climate change or something about those topics.
Do you need to study?
No.
I mean, like.
But I'm a nerd. I read so many reports.
Yeah, like I mean, you get your knowledge from the research reading.
Yeah.
That's why you messed the process.
Yeah. I know. I was just like, whoa, do you have to do so many hours? So my way have been like, I love shortcuts if they're good shortcuts.
Yes, of course.
So like when I just like find like a top professor within something and I get an hour with him and he teach me things and
like the basic fundamental.
Then I understand that of course everyone cannot do like this. I understand that.
This is your life. This is your perspective.
Yeah. And I would not take shortcuts if it was for that I would make economic profit. But I take shortcut because I know what I do is going to have a lot of impact for a lot of people. So therefore I just say that I'm allowed to do that. So that's my way of, I'm just like zigzagging between different professor and learn. And I never just like work with people. I often become friends with them because
that's nice.
Yeah, and I have friends, from like a big professor that are like 70 years old to like old like alcoholic salesman from Berlin. And like I love to meet people from different places of the society. Like my head needs that.
Is it a lot of revolutionary work that you do now? Like you need to talk a lot, to pitch a lot, to convince people a lot, or how is it? Does it take so much of your energy?
No, it gives me energy. For me, I can take, like what takes energy for me is to see slow processes that should not be slow.
Which means like basically everything.
So like, and that's like a difficulty. I'm not synchronized with the world's development. I'm way too fast in my head, So that is taking energy, but I get energy by speaking with people and learning things and expanding my head.
Amazing.
That's not like energy demanding. Energy demanding for me is to have like document.
You need to read like this policy or documentary.
No, like if it's interesting policy document, then I love to read it. It goes super fast and I highlight everything, But if it is about something that I don't find valuable, I'm really driven by like I think I'm so see-through. Like I'm super easy to read. If it would be like a boring report about like just money itself, I understand that money exists and so on. But I find that very boring,
What are you? Something you did that you're so proud of doing it, like in your entire career?
I would actually say Reformaten because it was not easy to start Reformaten to do that. All these conferences without having a name. Just calling people, convincing. I was so close to burn down during 1.5 years. I was just crying and just like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do this. And, I didn't want to have money from a bad industry. And I got to meet all these like kids in the suburb that didn't have food enough and they were suffering. And, like I get so emotionally involved. I'm like see-through, So when I see some suffering, I suffer myself. myself.
Okay.
And then I meet some people that are so privileged and complaining about the prices of the paprika, you know, and, you know, like to be between all these different... That's like it's creates it's very emotional, and I have so much emotions. I'm driven by emotions, you know.
I can see that.
I hate that people suffer. I really hate it, just inside our country and in other countries. So I would say to create Reformaten, and Reformaten like became something, because when I started Reformaten, I said to myself that I'm going to do this in a crazy way, and I know it's going to be eating on my health. I'm going to have to work in a crazy way. I'm not going to be able to go to the parties. I'm not going to be able to attend dinners. I'm not going to be able to do the things I used to do. But if I put myself as a private person on a shelf for 2 years, and I take all my time and energy, and my grandmother, she died 1 week before I started Reformaten, so I got a heritage, or what do you call it?
Yeah.
So I could survive on like just paying my rent and afford food for 1.5 years.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah.
So I said to myself, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I have money. But it was not much money. It was just so I could survive.
Yeah, that's still
but
good.
I was just like, okay, so me as a private person, I do this 1.5 year, and during that year, I'm gonna see if this is gonna fly or if it's gonna fall.
Yeah.
So either it's gonna become a hobby and some sweet little thing that is gonna go on, or it's gonna become a massive movement. So then I was just like, I did it in a very crazy way. Like I've been speaking with the person in the phone like maybe every 30 minutes. You know, I have not been a good friend because I've not been there for my friends. I've not been a good family member.
I understand you. You prioritize this Reformaten.
Yes. But I do it for them, you know, because I know that, for example, Ruby, my goddaughter, like if she's going to have a world to grow up in, it's not going to be a world to grow up in if we don't change this.
That's true.
So that has been like on a personal level hard to not be able to be there for the people around me, you know. And also I've not been able to rest them as much as I have to, and, you know, these kind of things. So just by making this first very demanding time, but now we are several people employed, you know.
Very good.
Yeah,
so you should really be proud of this. Really.
Yeah,
good
I
job.
am. Thank you.
Yeah.
And by journaling and stuff, then I become proud of it. And, you know, when we hired Elizabeth, our she's like operation manager.
Yeah.
She was in the organization 2 weeks. I was crying every day.
Why?
Because I had been waiting for this for,
it's
2
like a dream.
years.
Yeah.
So then when I was so tired and exhausted, so I was just, you know, like kind of collapsing. And then it was the Swedish election after 2 weeks that we had worked together. And then one of our political leaders stand there with this like processed wurst in media and just like, this is everything that is good for Sweden. And then I had the breakdown and I just hit the wall and was gone for a couple of weeks.
Oh no.
But now I am better
You're
again.
Back.
But that was like, I also knew that would happen, you know, like I knew it when I started Reformaten. I was just like, this is going to be crazy, but I have to do it this crazy way.
Yeah. And what a story.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
And what is the thing you did in your career you regret? If you look back,
I don't
maybe not regret, but just like you'd be like,
I will not do it again.
Yeah,
I will not do a commercial for either Jarlsberg or Pågen.
Okay.
Yeah, that. And also, you know, like when I was a kid, we were doing Macish, you know, we were like, oh, we're so jet set. We're going to Stockholm for a meeting with plane. I thought that was cool to travel with plane, you know, because that was like big business. And, you know, I was so not aware.
Okay.
And, you know, so that I am like, stupid Olga, come on, you were just like burning carbon, you know, and making people...
This is what you knew in that time.
Yeah, so and you know, as we were like a bit like trendsetter, then like you have a responsibility when you're creating trends and have a power position, then I think that you're obliged to do things in a more positive way. So I wish I would have known better, and but I did it.
This is, So if you choose another profession to work with, not the one focusing on food and health, what would you like to choose to do and why?
Work in a kindergarten. I did that a bit before I moved to Berlin, and that was like my best time, because for me, you know, like when it's fully chaos, then my brain relax.
Okay,
so
with
for
the
me
kids
it was
and
just
screaming
like,
and jumping.
I didn't have to think about saving the world. I was just like hanging with cool kids, eating sandwiches, playing around. I get along so good with kids as I'm more like a kid.
Yeah.
And I love to speak with them. It was so fun, like, because I was into this food and sustainability.
Yeah.
And I spoke with some kids. I was just like, oh, but then you should not eat the food that is flying in with a airplane, and blah, 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 blah. And then I said to a kid, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to take the airplane to Berlin. And the kid was just like, Olga, why can you fly and not the pineapple? And I was just like, you're so right.
Yeah.
Like I love the conversations you can have with kids because they're 100% honest.
And clear.
Yeah. And they have not been fucked up by the system yet.
Not yet.
So they are, pure.
That's true. That's true.
So to work in a kindergarten, I would actually love. I want to work more with kids.
That's nice. That's nice. And if you choose to be something else than being a human, what would you like to be?
Like my spiritual animal is an ostrich. These birds that run super fast, but I don't think I want to be that. Could it be whatever? Like a food.
But you will be eaten there.
Oh no. Okay, maybe I want to be the ocean.
Ocean. Whoa. That's big.
Yeah. Imagine how much life. Like it's so much undiscovered. And just be the whole ocean.
Chilling,
And also, like you will be the infrastructure of so much life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Above and under.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Olga the ocean.
Yeah. You get it. I got to say it.
It's nice. It's nice. So tell me, like, we have many passionate people, love their work, making change. At the same time, sometimes it gets very hard, like it's thinking of your health and so on. How can we find this balance in between work life, or I don't know? Do you have an advice?
Yeah, I think like we have to separate, like when people go to work, some people go to work just to make money. And you do it just to make money.
So I do the job to get my salary in the end of the month.
Yeah.
Without love and passion.
Yeah, that's one way of doing work.
Yes.
Then some people go to work because they have a passion and want to do something for the world.
Okay, there's a mission.
Yeah, it's a mission, exactly. So I think like, and we that live more mission driven, we have the issue that we never have enough with time.
Yeah.
And like we want to work all the time and do so much, and the ambitions are so high. So then I think it is actually to put super clear boundaries, because you need this balance between health and the relationships and so on. So as I have done, like I'm so, black and white with my draw, with my meals. Like
very clear.
Yeah, very clear. Like take away your phone. Like the phone, I think the devices is killing people's life and time. Like, like your hours. My brother always say, Olga, it's one thing, everything is equal. That's like time.
Everyone's 24.
Yeah. So how you spend your time, that's kind of the most precious thing.
True.
So don't waste your time on something not necessary.
That's
but as
true.
we are addicted onto these devices, then go on rehab, put it in a drawer, put it in another room. Then it takes 5 minutes and you forgot it, and you read a book or you have a company. So create this, like do a mapping, analysis, like okay, take your week. Well, how do you spend your time, and how would you like to spend your time?
That's
be a bit strategic. And then the people that only go to work to get money, they get burned out because it's so boring and they don't find meaning, and just want to kill time. And I have never been
they count hours.
Count hours. And they maybe just need to find something valuable.
Or maybe find the meaning of what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there is no meaning, change. Try to change. I know it's not easy, yes, of course.
So if you work maybe in a Lidl, for example, then you can change that Lidl and do it better and create activities. I think like people have to also zoom out and many look at so many perspectives from their point of view. Like I go to work to do this and do that. But if you say that I go to work to be able to change that and I can contribute to this, I think like we have so much power as individual.
True.
But that is when people look at them as consumers, not so much.
No.
Not so much power.
No.
If you look at yourself as a citizen with power, you can do what you
I
want.
think yes, you're gonna do the change, making real change. Interesting.
Yeah.
Good. Now we are in the last section of this episode, and 3 questions. The first one is about you give a message to yourself, to Olga.
Yeah. Be more kind to yourself.
To yourself.
Yeah. That is my issue, Like I'm always like, as I have these 2 big wheels in my head that people suffer all the time. I find it so hard to be thinking that I've done enough.
Okay. To calm down and say, okay.
Yeah. So like that, cut some slack. Like it's great. That I would say. But in the same time, I don't want to say it.
Say it, but don't listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. Good advice. Yeah. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And 3 messages to our listener.
That I would say that everything is possible if you collaborate with others and ask people of help. Like when you ask someone to help with something, like, I don't know if it's only me, but I have always got a yes. You really get a yes if you do that. So dare to start something. And with Reformaten, I've only asked questions. Everything has just been asking questions. Can you help that? What is wrong with this? Make yourself stupid and just learn. It's so much fun to learn and expand.
Yeah.
So that was 1 or 2. Was it 1 or 2?
So, no, 1. Ask for help is 1.
Yeah. Ask for help.
2 more.
Okay. Then what you do, if you're a privileged person and have a power position or money enough, I think, we speak about human rights, I think we should speak about human, what do you call it? Mänskliga rättigheter, mänskliga skyldigheter.
Responsibilities?
Yeah, we should have human responsibilities. So if you are privileged enough to be able to have human responsibilities, time and money, engage. It's so many amazing people doing so many amazing things, but we need to be more.
Yeah.
So either spend, give of your time or give of your money, because that is really needed. And it's so much fun to join a movement because that's so valuable of your time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 2. Ask for help and contribute, and then eat good food and invite your friends and neighbors on good food. Everything starts from a good meal. Cook see what kind. You have to also support these amazing people that work because they work in an uphill. Find a baker that produce beautiful bread. See if, Google, see if it is a farm somewhere and buy your groceries from there.
Yeah.
Invite someone on a meal. You can do it today. It's just to go, look up something. Experiment in the kitchen. Yeah. Both for your own health, because many people are individualistic and care about their own health, or for other people's health.
Nice. Good takeaway messages.
Yeah.
And the last question in this episode is about you asking this question, not me. So you ask the listener a question.
Oh, how much fun. Okay. What relationship do you have to food?
Should I answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Not so good. I'm buying not every time the healthy one. Why? It's because of the price, and maybe because sometimes there is no where I live. So I just take what is there. But recently I start to react, as I told you, why we have 40 different types of this, and maybe all of them are not good. So recently I start to reflect, and that's why actually this is the first time we talk about food and producing in this. So more and more I'm coming, but my relationship is not so good.
Cool, then it can improve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
No, but I'm learning a lot, and going to different events to experience. What is this 3D thing? What is this organically produced? What does it mean? And trying to to be a better person for myself and for this planet.
Oh, Cool. We're gonna have we do so many events. You should come because we think this with eating together and discussing.
It's very important.
Best.
It is very
and
important.
And also it's so important to I would never blame an individual because what kind of food they eat or what relation they have, because that's due to the food environment we live in.
Yeah. So and also we have a brain, we need to think. So I blame half 50-50, Okay. In the end we have a brain and to think.
Yeah, but it's also the way you grow up, or also, it's so many things that matters. And I think we should not blame people. We should rather just wake people up and understand that we have a tasty and fun possibility.
In this case, of course, we need to inspire instead of say, you're stupid doing this.
Yeah.
But of course, yes.
And also when you ask this question, what relationship they have to food, then you start to think, because I think we're in a time right now. Let's put this here.
Tell me.
We're in a time right now that it's a difference between knowing and understanding. And we know what situation we're in, or many people know that at least. But very few people understand it. And I think for understanding something, you need to create emotions and wake up emotionally to really understand it by emotions, I did with my dad, or something like that. When you're close to death experience with yourself or someone else, then you really understand it. But I also think you can create understanding by waking up your senses, smell and so on. And that you can do by doing events with food. So go from that. I think food could play a huge
That's
role.
True. I agree with you. With you.
And when you take this global sustainability goals, then the food and the food system is included in all of them.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So by creating a meal, and then you take actors that work in different silos, bam.
Yes.
Shortcuts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Olga, thank you so much for coming. And I'm really happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
Very inspired as well.
Yeah.
And hopefully I will join your event to learn more. So thank you so much, and really keep up the good work you do.
Yeah, you're going to start this movement. Don't forget that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.